That's really good right there.
You need to go faster.
I know. Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for swinging by. I sure do appreciate it. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Welcome to Fit and Fire. Let's get into this video. This time we're going to be looking at another double stack 9mm 1911. This is the AF 1911 Romulus from Alpha Foxtrot, and this is one that has a really interesting feature. We'll talk about that here in this video. But my question to you guys first and foremost is, where do the double stack 1911 pistols fit in your collection, I guess? Are you one that really do like the 9mm versions? Are you a 45 ACP guy? If you do like these 9mm versions, are you a Staccato only fan? Do you only fan? Do you like the OA Defenses, the Platypuses, the Springfield Prodigies? Let me know. Sound off in the comment section down below, because this is something I think that the guys over at Alpha Foxtrot was sitting around and thinking to themselves, you know, wouldn't it be nice if we were able to do something that was a 4-letter word to Staccato? Now, when they say 4-letter word, I don't know if they meant an insult. I thought maybe something cool or neat, because when I think of an insult, I think of, you know, or, which is 7 letters each, and then other things like or many more letters. So needless to say, I think that that is exactly what the guys over at Alpha Foxtrot was going for when they designed this pistol. Now, full disclosure, transparency from me is, what's my relationship with Alpha Foxtrot? That's easy. I don't have one. I don't know the guys over there. They don't know me. They don't know I'm doing this video. You know how I do things. I'm going to talk about the good with the bad and let you guys decide whether or not this is going to be right for you. I'm not getting paid to say anything good, bad, or indifferent about this. So there is that. This came from Gun Zone Deals, which is a website that I really do like to shop at. I've bought my Beretta 92X RDO, my Beretta 92X RDO Centurion, the APX A1. Those 3 pistols came directly from Gun Zone Deals. I bought with my own money. It's a website that is really easy to find some awesome deals. I encourage you guys to swing by and check it out. So there is that. Let's dive into this pistol, because it's got some really interesting things. Naturally, this is going to be a 3.5-inch bull barrel, double stack, 9mm, 1911, 2011, 2311, whatever you want to call it. And it has some really cool features straight from the factory, where a lot of people were taking the Staccato C and C2 and sending them off to someone like Monsoon Tactical to get the chunk port set up on their pistol. This comes from the factory already set up. Now, what is a chunk port? Well, that's easy. It is a ported bull barrel with a comped slide as well, and this thing actually does mitigate some of the recoil from this pistol. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, it's 9mm, there's no recoil with 9mm, but when you get into these shorter barreled pistols, you're going to have a pistol that usually is a little flippy. That's normally what I found, and the first couple of rounds that I put through this, I was like, yeah, it's pretty flippy, but then after I got through the first magazine, got into the second magazine, I was like, okay, I can start to see where this port comp setup is actually helping with this pistol, and that's something I really did like about it. It's got a Picatinny section here on the dust cover. It comes optics ready. It comes with 2 plates. I have a Siley Cat Pro on here. I really do like Siley optics for a budget option. I've ran them on a number of different pistols, not only their Cat Pro, their Wolf Pro, the Bull Pro, their Ghost. Those are fantastic red dots, so I'm glad that I was able to get that on here and test it out. It's worked well. Ambidextrous thumb safety here, and the slide lever is actually really nice. It is at the same level as the thumb safety when it's in its fire position, kind of giving it a really nice aesthetic look to it. And it's in a pretty decent place for me with my Doug Flutie size hands, so that's something I really do like as well. Nice checkering on the front and rear of the pistol grip, which is polymer, just like a Staccato. And then it's got some texturing up front in front of the trigger guard. I don't use it, but it's there for those people who might put their finger out and around that trigger guard. This is going to come with 2 magazines. These are Checkmate magazines. It's going to come with a 17 and 20 round magazine, but it doesn't have the Checkmate branding on this. So just to check, I went ahead and purchased a Checkmate magazine, a 20 round Checkmate magazine, and ran it exclusively at my IDPA match that I just shot last night. And that magazine had 0 issues. In fact, all 3 magazines have had no issues whatsoever. So this is compatible with the Checkmate magazine. So there you guys go. If you guys are interested in picking one of these up and have some of those magazines already, you're not going to have any problems whatsoever. So let's talk about the trigger. Exactly what you'd expect from a 1911. Has a little bit of take up on there, but has a definitive wall and a really nice breakover right around that 3.5 to 4 pound mark. The reset is exactly what you'd expect. Audible tactile, maybe just a touch longer than I was expecting. Just a touch, but it is still really, really nice. And then your breakover again is right there. Let's put this on the trigger gauge so you guys can see what the poundage is on this, but I was estimating 3.5 to 4 pounds, but here you go. Here's exactly what it is. And I will tell you, because of that really nice trigger, this has become a really good accurate shooting pistol for me. I typically get into my own head sometimes, and I will shoot low left from time to time when I'm moving from one pistol to another, and I really didn't find that that was the case for this. In addition to that, shooting offhand at 25 yards, I was able to get groups smaller than my fist, which is really nice, because last week I was just doing a review on, at least my initial review on the Springfield Echelon, and saw that the groups on that was larger than my hand using the same ammunition, which is Winchester 115 grain full metal jacket. In that video, I said that I was actually kind of taken back by the fact that that ammunition wasn't grouping very well with the Echelon, when this did very well. My Glock 19 Gen 5 does very well. The CZ P10C, the Ruger RMX, those pistols group that ammunition very, very well, but for some reason the Springfield Echelon didn't. Is it, in that case, a ammunition pistol combination issue? Maybe. With this exceptionally accurate shooting offhand at 25 yards, when I put it onto a ammo can as a bit of a brace, that group reduced its size even more, getting 3 of the 5 rounds in a 2-inch block at 25 yards. The other 2 rounds were probably me jerking the trigger a little bit, but needless to say, very much smaller than my fist for sure. So really, really did like the accuracy on this. What has been my shooting experience? I took this out to the range, put 150 rounds through this without doing anything for it. That's what I do as a reviewer. I do not recommend that for you guys. I recommend, as soon as you get something like this, go ahead and break it down, clean it up, lube it, put it back together, leave it together, and fire it anywhere between 200 to 500 rounds to make sure that it works itself in very well, and then disassemble it and clean it again. I, on the other hand, pull this directly out of its case and start going to work, because I want to see what my left and right limits are when it comes to this type of pistol. Is it going to choke on itself after 100 rounds because it's just gotten so dirty and has all of the different lubes that they've put in from the manufacturer? That's what I'm trying to find out. I found that it was reasonably reliable. When I say reasonably reliable, I had 3 stovepipes with the shell casing parallel to the barrel, getting stuck in between the slide and the barrel hood. I'll talk about that here in just a second, but out of the first 150 rounds for a double stack 9mm 1911, that's not terrible. And I hadn't cleaned it or anything like that, so take those results for what you will. After I shot this for the first 150 rounds, I did take it home, disassemble it, cleaned it, and lubed it, prepping it for the IDPA match that I shot, and I had zero issues from there. So this ends up being more reliable than I was expecting. I was expecting this to kind of choke on itself within the first 100 rounds, and it really didn't do that.
Starting off,
I feel that
with a bang.
if you care for this like you're supposed to, this is going to end up being a great pistol and very reliable. Needless to say, I did want to make sure that I pointed that out because you probably will see that in these B-roll shots, and I just wanted to make sure that you understood the context around all of that and why that is. Not excusing it, but I just want to make sure you guys understand how I do things and the purpose behind it. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things that I'm not a big fan of when it comes to this pistol. And the first thing is going to be the fact that it has an internal extractor. I do kind of understand why they probably went that route, because the original 1911 was an internal extractor. It wasn't until here in the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years that they started doing external extractors. So I can understand that. But what I have found, in my opinion, the external extractor 1911s end up being a little bit more reliable than the internal ones. And that is because I've had some issues with some Turkish imports in the past where the extractor was not tuned correctly, and tuning it is nothing more than bending that extractor to ensure that it gets into that rim and be able to get enough pressure on it to fling that round out. That's one of the reasons why I was running into some of the failures to eject with the budget versions. I sent those in, they actually replaced and tuned the extractor, and it eventually started working again, but I had to send it in twice and they had to fix it 2 different times. That's what I was worried about with this, and it turns out that that really wasn't the case. Just need to do some PMCS, and it has ran reliably with the 500 rounds that I have through it now. But I still would like to see them run that external extractor. I think that that would be something that a lot of people would be interested in seeing.
not like that.
The next thing is going to be the recoil assembly. The recoil assembly is almost identical to the Staccato C and C2 recoil assemblies. Essentially, you're going to have this recoil spring that is shot through, not shot, but fished through a sleeve and then screws into a base plate, and then you have 2 recoil springs surrounding that is captured by another sleeve that is embedded into the slide. And then you can take that out and completely disassemble all of it. You can clean it all and then reassemble it. But the problem that I ran into is about, I would say, probably the 120 round mark. The recoil spring guide yeeted itself out of the frame, and that was something I was not very happy with because I thought I had actually broke it. Was able, luckily, at the range, I was able to get a broom and pulled it back into me, and then I disassembled the pistol, saw what I was working with, reassembled everything, and it's been fine ever since. However, while I was at the IDPA match, this is what I saw.
Alright, so here we are. One issue I've been having is the recoil spring guide. Obviously it's clear, and I am able to turn that and tighten it. So that's something I've been concerned about and something I'd like to see improved.
So needless to say, you are going to need to make sure that you are checking that recoil spring guide to ensure that it is tight. I would say probably every 50 to at least 100 rounds, making sure that you are checking to see if that's tight. I don't think that blue Loctite would work because the heat from the barrel would heat everything up and just disintegrate that Loctite. So I don't think that that is a solution. I would like to see Alpha Foxtrot move away from that recoil spring assembly and do something that is maybe more captive, or maybe even something just a little bit more simple, where it's a simple guide and spring like the standard 1911s. However, I do see what they were going for. They wanted to mimic what the Staccato C and C2 recoil assemblies were, so that's why that's in this one. Again, I would like to see them improve it, but more than likely, if I end up keeping this pistol for long term, I will swap that out to a different recoil spring assembly. So those are my two major complaints. Outside of that, this has been great. I've liked this pistol. I do like this pistol. I would say if you're interested in kind of dipping your toe into the double stack 9mm 1911, 2011, 2311 arena, and you don't want to spend the couple $1,000s to get into a Staccato or a Platypus or OA Defense, and you don't really want to test your luck with some of the Turkish import stuff that's coming in here, this might be an option for you. I would say either this or the Springfield Prodigy would be my first recommendations to a lot of people in that kind of budget arena when it comes to this, because essentially you are getting what you pay for. Naturally, if you spend more, you're going to get more, but I do feel that this is something that can challenge the Springfield Prodigy for sure, and will probably punch up a little bit when it comes to the Staccatos as well. Needless to say, that's what I have to say about this, but I would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comment section down below. Let me know, sound off, and I would appreciate that. Naturally, if you haven't already checked out the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast, I'll leave that in a pinned comment down below, and I'd love for you guys to check that out. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much for joining me on this, and we will catch you guys next time. As always, freedom through strength. Catch you guys later. Bye, y'all.